Hey, welcome back. So today is National Tell a Story Day. I figured why not tell you guys a story. And I was trying to think of what I could tell, and I was like, how about the time I thought my daughter was about to die? Crazy, right? This was back in 2002, and she was 7 years old. And at the time, I was working for my parents. They owned like a convenience store, so I was working there, and it was summertime. It was in August, and my daughter and my friend Jennifer, her two daughters, they all went to a summer camp together. But the camp that specific day was going on a field trip that they didn't want to go on, so they stayed with me at the store. So also what was going on, I was starting classes to go to school for my early education degree, and I had to go register at the local community college. So I was doing that. They decided they wanted to go with me so I could go buy my books. And so the store was like on a corner. The store sat here on the corner, and I had to cross the street to get to my car. So I go and I get in the car, and like I said, it was August, so it was hot. So I'm in the car, and this was an older car, so I had to, manually roll down the windows. And so the girls were across the street in the store, and I was yelling. I said, if y'all coming, y'all better come on. So Deja's in front, and you got Tanai and Terry behind her, and they're all like 7 and 6 years old. So Deja comes and she darts into the street. Now, when I tell you it was like a movie, I saw her coming, and then coming up the street was a car. I saw the car coming. I had just got in the car and shut my door. Windows were still up, and I'm looking out of my side mirror, and I see the car coming. I see her coming. So I'm banging on the window because I couldn't get it down fast enough. So I'm banging on the window for her to stop. And luckily the other two girls didn't come into the street yet, but the car was coming, and thank God he saw her, but he was still going a little too fast. So he was trying to slow down, and he swerved a little bit, but like it all just happened so fast. So he's coming, she's coming, boom, he hits her. Now, it was horrible. Like, as a mother, you see your child get hit, but then, she was small, she was skinny. He hit her, she went up in the air, down on the ground in the street, and let me tell you, I lost it like crazy. Now, this was like in the summertime, in the hood, like your average in the hood, right? So of course everybody's outside. My uncles and my mom actually own a barber shop exactly across the street. My uncles, they cut hair in the front. My mom does hair in the back. So this is like literally our family. Like, this is where everybody congregates. And then just the local people that live in the neighborhood. So everybody's outside. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the summer. Everybody comes running. I'm trying to get out the car. I see her. She's just laying on the ground, passed out. So to me, I'm thinking she dead. So I'm screaming. It was like one of those things you see like in the movies. The guy stops the car a little bit up the street. He jumps out. He's a young guy. I think he was 18 at the time. He got out of his car to come and check on her. By this time, like, everybody's crowding around her. I'm still screaming in the street. He come out, and I like ran up to him. I'm like, didn't you see her? I was like yelling at him, trying to choke at him and everything. And I was just hysterical. I knew it wasn't really his fault, but at that time all I saw was my child laying on the ground. So finally I'm like composed halfway enough to go check on her. And I don't know why, but I had all these blankets in the trunk of my car. So I run to the car and get a blanket because it's the middle of August and it was blazing hot. So the ground was hot. She still passed out. It's probably not even like 2 minutes. I don't know like how much time passed, but it wasn't like a lot of time. So we get there. So people are trying to pick her up and all this, and we're like, no, just leave her there. She's like scraped her leg, her face was bleeding, all this crazy stuff. So everybody's standing in the street, screaming and hollering. And my uncle James, rest his soul, he was really sick at the time, and he come running out of the barbershop to see what was going on. He fell, so he like fell down the steps to the barbershop. So then everybody's running over to check on him. It was crazy. It was like a hot mess. And then like a couple minutes later, hear the ambulance coming. So they come to get her shoes. She was wearing flip-flops, and they just was like in the street. Somebody handed them to me. And then just as they were getting her into the ambulance, like, she finally woke up. And she woke up not knowing what was going on. She was like really upset, and she's like, I don't want to die. Oh my God, I don't want to die. So they put her in the ambulance, and my mom gets in the back of the ambulance with her. I get in the front of the ambulance. I'm still like, I remember I was holding her flip-flops, and I'm just holding them like this, and I'm crying. My mom's crying. She's screaming that she's about to die, and she was like, my leg hurts. And so they were, you know, asking her some questions and stuff. When we get to the hospital, I don't know who called all these people, but like, they took her into a room, and they're like, you know, we have to do an initial assessment, so they wouldn't let anybody back there and everything. So next thing I know, all these people are coming into the hospital, and everybody's like, what's going on? And her dad comes, and we're all freaking out, and it was just like crazy. So what seems like forever later, of course it wasn't, but the doctors come out, and they're telling me, you know, she's okay, she has a concussion, and she broke her leg, like her whole leg, and they had to reset it. So they were like, you know, we have to put her to sleep. So she goes, and she has to get put to sleep so they could reset her leg. And she had a cast like all the way up her leg, and she had to spend, I think she spent like 2 nights in the hospital. And there was a write-up in the newspaper about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. So, you know, the guy didn't get charged or anything because it wasn't his fault. And she was fine. She had to wear the cast for a long time. And they gave her a walker. And they gave her a commode because when she was able to go home, we just had set her bed up, a bed downstairs. So she wouldn't have to go up and down the steps, because like it was like crazy with the cast going on. But it was crazy. She was like, her head was swollen. I think it was the left side of her face was really swollen, and it was rough. And she had to wear the cast for a few months. And then it was funny, was when school started, she still had it on. She still had it, so she had to get like a teacher to help her carry her stuff and take her on and off to get to school and everything. And when she finally got the cast off, like 2 or 3 months later, she was scared to walk because her leg was so much skinnier than the other one, and she was such a drama queen. It was crazy. But yeah, it was very scary. And I was like, that's like the worst thing I've ever had to witness in my life, was to just see her. And I literally thought, by the time I got to her initially, I thought she was dead, because that's what it looked like. Bodies, you know, head this way, leg that way, arm this way. It was like a CSI. Like, you know, the body laying on the ground. But thank God she was okay. She did suffer, she had a few mild seizures after, because what they found out, it was the guy's mirror, the outside mirror, that hit her head. So luckily, they said what saved her was he swerved. So the car didn't actually hit her. It was his mirror that hit her. So it hit her in the head, and then she went up, and then she went down. But luckily, that's, you know, he saw her enough to swerve and do that. But she did have a few complications after, but she's fine now. Although every now and then I tell her, that's probably why you're crazy, because you got hit by a car. So yeah. That is my tell a story for today. It was a very scary one, but it luckily had a happy ending. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give me a big thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.